Hi, it's me, Joyce, just talking and just singing, and today I'm bringing you a What You Need to Know video. And what do you need to know, really? Well, it's something actually regarding a lady who was very close to me in my life, my mom, who was a psychic life consultant, she called herself. And back in the 80s and 90s, especially, people weren't calling themselves psychics, they were calling themselves life consultants. I mean, I did it myself when I had my metaphysical bookstore in Bradford. I was a pariah of the community. That's a story for another day. But for sure, yeah, I think I did tell it in I told it in another vlog, so you can go check back there. Anyway, psychics over the ages have not been exactly the most popular people in communities because being a psychic or a life consultant or, prognosticating things or looking into what you need to know about your life has been frowned on because, really, you have belief in God or knowledge of God, knowledge of soul, knowledge of spirit. You just, there's a thing called, especially in Judaism, it's called emunah and bitachon. And we have to, of course, know that Hashem has everything in order. But also, Hashem put the stars in the sky. And I'm not saying that put them there as a sign, but not for us to get so self-absorbed, but if we can, I think there's got to be a balance somehow where we use this kind of knowledge to help ourselves, not to be self-absorbed and like all that kind of stuff, but to certainly it's, you go to a psychologist, and they delve deep and they find out stuff that you need to know to help you. I think that's what it's like when you go to a psychic, if they're a really good one. Anyway, that being said, what you need to know. Well, my mom was her name was Irene Laviolette. That's her maiden name, Laviolette. And I'll just read right from her little brochure she used to send out to people, give out. Irene Laviolette comes from a long line of traditional psychics dating back to Ireland and Romania. And yes, she did say that we were part Gypsy. And then I have to digress a little bit. Oh yeah, okay, I'll just say a little bit more. She also has a strong French, Belgian, and Dutch background. So these are my backgrounds as well. The French, the Dutch, the Belgian, the Romanian, the Irish, very heavily Irish in my DNA. I am Sharon Begora. I must be part of the leprechaun, the wee fairy people. That's why we're like this, maybe that's why we're a little bit psychic. I don't know. Anyway, I can talk like this, because I am a large percentage of Irish there in me. Anyway, Sharon Begora. Anyway, we have to laugh and have fun, right? I mean, my gosh, people don't have fun anymore. I can't handle it. Anyway, so I was thinking, how do we go back to Romania? Well, apparently on my mother's father's side, that's where it went. So it was his mother's mother and his mother's sister, who was our Aunt Valerie. And Aunt Valerie, she was a card reader in the 1930s, and she used to read cards in the tea rooms and little restaurants and cafes in Ottawa, and she often got picked up by the law because the psychic doing psychic readings is still on the books as against the law. It's under a witchcraft thing, and I get it. But the thing is that she used to get sort of picked up and said no, you can't do this, no. So but she used to do tea leaves and cards. And my grandmother, my Mère Laviolette, my grandfather's wife, she used to read cards, and of course my mom read cards and palms. And it was not unusual for my mother to read my cards when I was a teen, and that was very I think she actually tried to manipulate it to get stuff out of me that wasn't really happening, so that was not a good thing, She'd see things that weren't there, like a mother. So she wasn't a very good psychic with me in those days. And, yeah, it was a little bit manipulative. But I go, oh, yeah, no, that's not happening. Well, I don't know, I see it right here. And she tried to get things out of me when I was a teen, but I was a good girl. I really was. I didn't even date. Anyway, I digress, as I say a lot. I digress. Anyway, my mom was interesting. She took us out to all kinds of interesting places, especially me, and especially when we came to Toronto. And my mom got involved with the Hungarian community here in Toronto because I may have mentioned before that she was the singer MC at the Brunswick House for 27 years, from 1975 until 2002. Yeah, and this is her tambourine, her famous tambourine, which I will be sort of playing later when I sing one of her favorite songs to sing, which was Golden Earrings. And I'm even wearing my golden earrings today. They're not real gold, Rexall, but hey, they're golden. Anyway, yeah. So I remember going down to see my mom down there in the Hungarian district, the Gypsy district of our city, which was Bathurst and Bloor at the time. There's only one restaurant left there now. It's the country style, but there was a sport restaurant. There's a Hungarian castle. But the sport restaurant is where she introduced me to the King of the Gypsies. Excuse me. And the King of the Gypsies. Now, Gypsies don't usually have kings and queens. It's just, it's the person's the head of the community, so he's called the King of the Gypsies. Very romantic and very beautiful. And but I kind of question, why we have this gypsy blood. I'm thinking Romania, okay, maybe Transylvania, it's more barbarish, I don't know. But, and I love garlic, it doesn't bother me. Kidding. Anyway, no, it doesn't bother me. I'm not kidding, that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, I love garlic. But the thing is that apparently, gypsies, just a little bit of history, they've traced them back to India, so I do not look at all Indian, not dark hair, dark eyes, darker skin. I don't have that. But I saw a recent History Channel documentary on gypsies, and when at some point when they were in Romania, they did marry out of the gypsies, and they did marry other people. So we were probably the other people. And then we came from Romania to Ireland, and carried on our gypsiness there, apparently. So, and then came to Canada. I have very, very vague information about this, so whatever I'm telling you right now is like, I don't know. It says so here. My mother said so. Anyway, but my mom was, I'm here to give a couple of predictions that my mom gave just before, well before she passed away. She passed away in 2015. But she wrote all this down just after 9/11 happened, because she had some predictions. She actually told me about a dream back in August of 2001. A month before 9/11, she says, Joyce, I had this really strange dream, and it was like these two buildings, and they were like birds flying behind it, and then they went into it, and then I see here it's like and the buildings were toppling down, and I said, oh Mom, I don't know what to tell you about that dream. It was really troubling her. And of course the Twin Towers came down. But every so often I go through my photos and stuff, and I found a whole bunch of these things that she had written down about her experiences and some predictions, and a couple really just sort of stood out for me. They're right under the 9/11 one, and it says predictions for future. And I thought, before I tell you what they are, I know that a lot of faiths say, like the psychic stuff is bad, it's dark, it's, it's not of God, and this kind of thing, but everything is of Hashem, everything is of God, everything is of God, everything happens because it's of God. God is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, everywhere, in everything we say, do, or He knows everything. He or she, or God. Anyway, if in the past, if people were given prophecy or given a vision or an image or something, and they hadn't spoken it, then would that be, like, if you're given an image or a vision or something, should we not say it? Do we have to hold it in because it's not right? I mean, in the past, I mean, they say there's no prophets or anything now, but okay, maybe not in the way of Zechariah or Isaiah or all these, famous Jeremiah, all these people who were famous, and Enoch and Methuselah, they weren't prophets, but the great people of the Bible stories. Does it have to be so far back, or are there things that we really need to be relating to people, let people know, like, well, I saw this, or I dreamt that, or if you have a really strong feeling about it, a sense of it, I really do believe we have a responsibility to just say it, not to alarm, not to harm, but to inform and to prepare and to say, look at the situation, be logical about it, do your research and say, well, is that actually possible? Could that really happen? Well, like I said, I just found it the other day, and I read it years ago, but when my mother passed away in 2015, I filed it away with a bunch of photographs. And then I looked at it the other day, and it says predictions for future. And the one says collapse of economic status of the world. I've heard this before from other predictors, other people, or even economists say, like the way things are going right now, it's not sustainable, right? So is that such a prediction? Or just an observation, yeah, that could happen, that really could happen. I mean, it happened in 1929, there was a big collapse there. Look what happened to the world. Down. But then there was another one right below it that says health, about health. New and untreatable viruses. I thought, holy cannoli, like, could that be COVID? And we've had SARS, we've had MERS, we've had a whole bunch of them, but new and untreatable viruses. And the one we're in right now, which started off as COVID-19, has morphed, into what it is now, and it keeps morphing. And hopefully, yes, it is treatable. Let's certainly hope and pray for the scientists working out there that it is a treatable virus, and that we're going to get a handle on this. But I see the numbers going up here in Ontario again, 666. There's a number. Not that I believe in the mark of the beast. I do not. But it's just one of those numbers you look at and go, but yeah, and deaths still happening. And as our vaccines are waning, the possibilities of us becoming infected, do rise. So we'll need our boosters and stuff like that. But it doesn't seem to be going away, does it? 2 years later, not like 1919, it was with the flu epidemic. I mean, that didn't stick around the same way like this one is, and this is my concern. Anyway, so yes, my mom, she's called herself a universal person for the word go. Irene has an unusual knack for dealing with every man or every woman for that matter. Whether you're the CEO of a corporation, a working gal, or working stiff, Irene will lay out your cards, lay it on the line, and help you to better understand your life path. That doesn't sound like such a bad thing, does it? No. She might not tell you what you want to hear, but you'll darn well hear what you need to know. Irene always says, and this is true, this was my mom's big saying, life is for living, not just for surviving. And she used to get on my case all the time because I was Debbie Downer a lot, and very sullen and depressed, and suffering from my borderline personality disorder, and whatever, life. I'm coming out of it now, finally at 66. Ooh, there's a number. And I'm finally learning to like myself and enjoy who I am, a lot better. So that's a really good thing. Finally, finally starting to like who I am. So, so she used to say that, and she says, if living is for you, then take a step towards becoming more independent and get on with it. There is nothing left to do but to do it. Good advice, Mom. So I'll probably have a lot more to say about my mother over many, many blogs, because what an interesting person she was, and certainly we had a very difficult relationship, very hard, that's for another time, and maybe I won't even talk about it, because she's passed over to the other side, and she sees things differently, and I really should start seeing things differently, and forgiveness is a great thing, and we all need to forgive. On this side of the line, when we're in our physical bodies, when the soul is able to hug and kiss and speak, okay? We're given these bodies for a reason, okay? All right? The soul is given this little, little body to walk around in and talk and do things for a reason. You're on a mission. Remember that. Okay? All right. Anyway, a gypsy song for you. My mother loved this song, and if she was alive today, she would say, Joyce, you can't sing that song. That's my song. So I can never sing a song that she sang. But, Mom, because you're not in the physical able to sing this song, that you're in spirit, I'm going to do this in honor of you. And if any lights go off or anything pops or anything sort of dances around me or anything, let me know. Okay? Could be my mom. I don't doubt that she's around me somehow. I know where tambourine is. So here we go. It's my attempt at the first time of me ever singing Golden Earrings, Forgive Me, Mom. Okay, I can't even play her tambourine. She was the one, this is her tambourine. She could play it, so we'll start with a... There's a story the gypsies know is true, that when your love wears golden earrings, he belongs to you. An old love story that's known to very few. But if you wear those golden earrings, love will come to you. By the burning fire, they'll glow with every coal. You will hear desire whisper deep within your soul. So be my gypsy, make love your guiding light, and let the pair of golden earrings cast the spell tonight. Any percussionists out there, please forgive me. Oh, I am not a percussionist. My mom was good. Yeah, she's good on the tambourine and the kazoo. Actually, when I was in the Cuban band with Pablo Terry and Sol de Cuba, I could play maracas when I was allowed to. I wasn't really allowed to, but I'd watch Pablo a lot. He had this real good way of doing it. So, yeah. By the way, people, whenever you're at a gig and you see a musician with their maracas, don't grab them from him and go running around playing them. Those things cost money and they break easily. I don't know how many times I had to glue those maracas back together. Okay? So don't do it. Don't be an idiot. That's not a nice word, is it? Idiot. Let's just don't be. Anyway, so if you have something come to you, all I can say is if it's put on your heart to do it, you need to tell someone something. Tell them. I saw this. And it was like, regarding blah, 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 blah. And people can take it at face value with a grain of salt, however they want to take it. They can take it to heart or ponder it. But, if you've got something that comes to you, maybe there's a reason for it. If it really impacts you that much, if it makes an impression, it doesn't seem like normal, like your normal musings, something out of the ordinary, talk about it. Just talk about it to people. Hey, you know what I dreamt about last night? I was thinking, I saw this. People say, oh, you're full of it. Or they'll say, oh, it's interesting. And they'll talk about it. Okay, and that also goes for it goes for a lot of things. When you get an impression about somebody, for instance, tell them. Tell them what you see. Like in good ways. Like, tell people when they're doing something really great, or that you see that they could do really great. See the potential in people as well. Because, maybe you're going to see something that they hadn't thought about. Say, I think you'd be really great at, doing da-da-da, whatever it is. And they'll go, I've thought about that. But it's confirmation for them, right? So maybe all these things that come to us are confirmation rather than prognostication. Because, as we know, time is not linear, okay? It's helical. Everything exists at once. Past, present, future. Time, the timeline, is not a line. Time is helical. Amazing. All things exist at all times. That's just the way it is. Okay? We're a never-ending story. So, on that, I will just end with what I usually end with, which is, what is it? For those of you who've been watching me, I always quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that the answer to everything is 42. So 42, and how do you do? Just be you and enjoy your life. Don't wait too long, because life is for living, not just surviving. 42.